Plastering is an essential skill in construction and home renovation. It involves applying a paste-like material called plaster to walls and ceilings. This creates a smooth, durable surface for painting or wallpapering. Mastering plastering can seem daunting, but with the right guidance, even beginners can achieve professional-looking results. Plastering enhances the aesthetics of your home, creating a polished look. It also provides a protective layer, concealing imperfections and strengthening walls. Knowing how to plaster empowers you to tackle DIY projects and saves you money on hiring professionals. Whether you're a homeowner looking to refresh your living space or a DIY enthusiast eager to expand your skill set, this comprehensive guide will equip you with the knowledge and confidence to plaster like a pro. Let's dive in! Before you embark on your plastering journey, gather the necessary tools and materials. Having everything on hand ensures a smooth and efficient process. Here's a checklist. Media group, person organizing plastering tools, checklist of plastering tools and materials stock distribute _equally. Plastering trowel used for applying and smoothing plaster. Hook, a flat board with a handle used to hold the plaster. Bucket for mixing plaster, mixing paddle, attached to a drill for efficiently mixing plaster. Water essential for achieving the desired plaster consistency. Plaster, choose the appropriate type for your project, such as gypsum plaster. PVA bonding agent, improves adhesion of plaster to walls. Straight edge for checking the flatness of the plastered surface. Sandpaper for smoothing imperfections after drying. Investing in quality tools and materials can significantly impact the outcome of your plastering project. Proper preparation is crucial for successful plastering. Start by cleaning the walls thoroughly, removing any dust, dirt, or loose debris. Use a scraper to eliminate old paint or wallpaper residue. Next, inspect the walls for any cracks or holes. Repair these imperfections using a suitable filler and allow it to dry completely. This ensures a smooth and even surface for the plaster to adhere to. Apply a coat of PVA bonding agent to the walls. This acts as a primer, enhancing the bond between the plaster and the substrate. Allow the PVA to dry according to the manufacturer's instructions. By taking the time to prepare your walls properly, you create an optimal foundation for a flawless plaster finish. Mixing plaster correctly is essential for achieving the desired workability and final result. Start by pouring clean water into your bucket. The amount of water needed may vary depending on the type and quantity of plaster you're using, so refer to the manufacturer's instructions. Gradually, add the plaster to the water while continuously mixing with the paddle attachment on your drill. Avoid adding too much plaster at once, as this can lead to lumps. Continue mixing until you achieve a smooth, creamy consistency. The plaster should be thick enough to adhere to the walls without sagging, but not so thick that it becomes difficult to spread. Aim for a consistency similar to that of thick yogurt or batter. Once mixed, allow the plaster to rest for a few minutes to allow the additives to activate fully. Section 5. Applying the first coat, a smooth start. Now comes the exciting part. Applying the plaster. Using your hook and trowel, scoop up a manageable amount of plaster. Starting from a corner, apply the plaster to the wall in smooth upward strokes. Work in small sections, spreading the plaster evenly across the surface. Hold the trowel at a slight angle to create a consistent thickness. Aim for a first coat that is roughly 1/4 inch thick. Don't worry about achieving a perfectly smooth finish with the first coat. The goal is to create an even layer that will act as a base for subsequent coats. Once you've covered a section, use the straight edge to check for any high or low spots. Scrape off any excess plaster and fill in any voids. Section 6. Second coat and finishing touches. After the first coat has dried, lightly sand down any imperfections or rough edges. This will ensure a smoother finish for the second coat. Mix a new batch of plaster, following the same steps as before. The second coat should be thinner than the first, approximately 1/8 inch thick. Apply it using the same technique, smoothing it out as much as possible. As the second coat begins to set, you can start to create a finer finish. Use a wet sponge or trowel to smooth out any remaining imperfections and create a uniform surface. Work quickly and efficiently as the plaster will continue to harden. Section 7. Achieving a professional finish, tips and tricks. To achieve a truly professional-looking finish, consider these additional tips and tricks. Keep your tools clean. Regularly remove any dried plaster from your trowel, fork, and bucket. This will prevent imperfections in the finish. Work in manageable sections. Don't try to plaster an entire wall at once. Divide the wall into smaller sections to maintain control and prevent the plaster from drying too quickly. Use a consistent pressure. Apply even pressure when spreading the plaster to avoid creating ridges or unevenness. Don't overwork the plaster. Avoid over-troweling the surface, as this can bring too much moisture to the surface and weaken the bond. By following these tips, you'll be well on your way to achieving a professional-looking plaster finish that will transform your walls. Section 8. Drying times and maintenance. Allow the plaster to dry completely before painting or wallpapering. Drying times can vary depending on factors such as humidity and temperature, but it's generally best to wait at least 48 hours. To ensure proper drying, provide adequate ventilation to the room. Open windows and doors to allow air to circulate. Avoid using artificial heat sources, as this can cause the plaster to dry too quickly and crack. Once the plaster is fully dry, it requires minimal maintenance. Simply wipe down the walls with a damp cloth to remove any dust or dirt. With proper care and maintenance, your beautifully plastered walls will last for years to come. Section 9. Conclusion. Enjoy your beautifully plastered walls. Congratulations, you've now mastered the art of plastering. By following the step-by-step guide outlined in this essay, you've transformed your walls into smooth, durable surfaces ready for the finishing touches. Remember to take your time, practice your technique, and don't be afraid to ask for help if needed. Plastering is a rewarding skill that can enhance the beauty and value of your home. So gather your tools, put on your DIY hat, and enjoy the satisfaction of creating beautifully plastered walls that you can be proud of.